Hello friends and welcome to today's video, the Apple Rose Love Spell. This is the highly anticipated and long-awaited spell that you guys have been requesting for a while now. This is actually an outtake from my book. This is just one of the spells that didn't make the cut into the love chapter. This particular spell is made to attract a lover into your life, a specific person, a crush, an ex. But if you wanted to do this for general love, we would just take out one of the ingredients, and I'll explain that in a little bit. You can start off by holding your apple over some rose incense or any type of love incense that you might have, and just clearing the energy of the apple and all of the ingredients that you're going to be using for this spell. And apples have long since been used in love spells. They're a sign of eternal love. They symbolize fidelity, marriage, love, and fertility. So they're useful for all different kinds of love spells, but this particular love spell is for attracting a specific lover into your life. This isn't really for marriage or fertility, but with a little research and if you want to swap out some ingredients, you can really customize this apple spell for whatever you like. But the specific one is just for attracting a lover into your life, and we'll be using ingredients like catnip, brown sugar, and cinnamon. That's going to sweeten them to you and really add that spark and draw them closer to you. After you've cleansed your apple with the incense, you're going to want to cut your apple horizontally, not vertically, because we're going to be carving out a little space in the apple. And if you cut it the other way, it'll be harder for it to stand. We want it to stand straight up and down. And I cut mine a little bit crooked, but that's okay. Just try to make yours a little bit more straight. And you're going to want to use a spoon and just draw out an outline of where you're going to want to scoop it out and leave, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch wall around the edges. If you cut into the apple too much, all the ingredients and the liquids are going to leach right out of the bottom, and I made that mistake with this apple, so I ended up having to sort of jimmy rig and patchwork a little piece of the apple onto the bottom. But just make sure you don't get too close to the bottom, because you will definitely have the ingredients leaking right out. This next step you will be doing if you're going to be doing this spell for a specific person, and if you want to do this just to attract general love into your life, you can just do a variation of this. But you're going to need some red string, a piece of paper with the edges torn off, a red pen, and if you don't have a red pen, you can use any color pen, it's totally fine. On your piece of paper, you're going to want to write the name of the person across the page 7 times, and then you're going to turn the paper to the right and then write your name over their name 7 times. Turn the paper once more to the right, and across this you can write whatever intention that you're trying to get out of the spell. So you can write, bring me my ideal lover, we are together forever, we're getting married, we're in a happy, healthy relationship, whatever you are trying to get out of the spell. And just take your paper and fold it up into a little square, and make sure to always be folding it towards you because we're bringing love in. So it doesn't matter how small it is, just make sure it fits into the bottom of your apple. And using your red string, we're going to be binding this love to you, so just wrap the red string, again, always wrap things towards you, and just wrap it several times, doesn't really matter, and tie it off and place it into the bottom of your apple. If you're using this to find love in general and just bring anyone towards you, you can just write out on the piece of paper your desires, just a few quick sentences about what kind of love you want to attract into your life, and use the same methods. Into the apple, you're going to want to add some red roses. And roses, of course, are highly symbolic of love, so we always like to add rose petals to any love spells, and you can also add some to the outside of the apple if you want, to just add that extra little bit of energy into your spell. You could also use pink rose petals if you have some. If you are trying to attract somebody back into your life, if you have any flowers that they gave you, that would make an excellent addition to the spell. Next, you're going to add lavender, and lavender has long been used in love spells in different things like sachets for writing love letters, putting it into your drawers so that your clothes will attract a lover into your life. Lavender will also help you attract a peaceful, calm, loving relationship, and if this is to attract a person back, if there's any chaotic energy, arguments, this is really good for helping tame that wild energy and bringing in that peace back to your relationship. Next, you're going to need some rosebuds, and I always love adding rosebuds to any love spell, but if all you have are petals, you can use that. But I always like to think of rosebuds as a symbol for new beginnings, starting over, a budding new relationship, whether that's a new love in your life or rekindling an old romance, just having that fresh, renewed energy into the relationship. Next, you'll be needing catnip, and catnip is a feminine, watery plant that's ruled by Venus and the Egyptian deity of Bastet, which is the feline goddess. Has a depiction of a cat. Catnip in love spells is very intoxicating, and just like a cat chases a toy filled with catnip, that is what you're going to have the person doing to you, chasing after you. Dragon's blood is a very potent ingredient in any type of spell work. It helps speed things up, adds that extra energy and power into your spell work, and I'm going to be using some dragon's blood oil that I've already made, but if you have dragon's blood resin, you can just pound it up in your mortar and pestle and add a few little bits into your apple. Rose water is another beautiful ingredient that I love using in any type of love work, especially love baths. But the apple is the perfect vessel for a little bit of rose water, so I'm adding just a splash of it. We're also going to be adding some cinnamon powder, but if you have the whole cinnamon, you can also add in a few sticks of cinnamon or grind it up a little bit and add some chunks. And we're going to be adding some sugar to sweeten that person to you. And I like to use coconut sugar or brown sugar, but you can add whatever you have. And I'm also adding a little bit of wine in here. Wine's very intoxicating and makes you attractive and alluring when you're drinking wine. So I like to add a little bit of wine from a glass that I'm drinking out of, but you can use it right out of the bottle. And lastly, you're going to add honey. This is a love honey that I'm making another video on, which will probably be coming out next week. And I would have put it up before this, but you guys have really been asking for this video, so just add in regular honey if you don't have this love honey, or wait till next week and you can make these in the same day. And you're going to take your dragon's blood oil, or if you don't have dragon's blood oil, you use any love oil that you might have, and just anoint your candle with the oil. And I'm using a little heart-shaped floating candle for the spell, but if you have a small chime candle or tea light, that works perfectly. I just love these cute little heart-shaped candles. And add it to the center of your apple. It doesn't have to fit inside, it can just sit right on top, that's fine. And then light your candle and let it burn down over your apple as you focus on the love, bringing in that specific person into your life or back into your life. You can also further charge your spell by just cleansing it with this lavender smoke. It's unnecessary, you don't have to do this, but I always just like to add that extra touch. And let your candle fully burn down, and when it's done, just put the lid back on, and you're going to want to bury this somewhere really lush and beautiful with flowers and trees. If you have a backyard, you can bury it there or in a park. Just make sure it's a secluded area where you're sure that nobody will dig this up or find it. So that was the spell, guys. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.